What's up, Rippa fans and Rippa fam? Andy Andrew here, and I am back with our illustrious illustrators over at the Rippaverse, part of our internal team. And we are here to give you another action-packed, knowledge-packed, maybe that's overselling it a little bit, but another fantastically fun episode of Ctrl+Z, our artist podcast here, which you guys have been so supportive of thus far. This is our 11th episode.
Crazy.
I almost held up all of my fingers to say 11, and then I'm like, I'm short one. So, I don't handle the numbers. I'm not intelligent like that. I'm not trusted with the numbers. But thank you guys for being here for another episode of this. We love hanging out with you guys. I love hanging out with the artists and get to poke their brains, get a little bit of knowledge, hear their insight. This is as much for me as it is for y'all. Like, you guys get to get the insight and the kind of behind the scenes of all of our creatives here via this podcast. But like, I get to too. So this is like a real fun part of my job. So thank you for being here. This month's episode is going to be focused on the Ripazine. Now, there are a number of reasons for that, but not the least of which being that Ripazine number 5 is currently available for pre-order. You can head on over to our website and pre-order it there if you have not done already. Copies are flying fast, so I'd appreciate you supporting that issue. And we'll plug more books because we got a lot of stuff right now in pre-order, both between Rippaverse and Ripasend, and we'll cover all that later on in the show before we wrap up as the housekeeping. But without further ado, Kanan, welcome back.
Hey.
Good to have you here, brother. Always good to have you, brother.
Likewise. I'm glad to be here, man.
Marcos, welcome back, amigo. Glad to have you here, as always.
Glad to be here.
Igor, my man. Thank you for being here, brother.
Hello, thanks for having
Gracing
me.
us all with your hair.
And then I'm gonna show up just bald, like completely.
No!
Oh, yeah, the ball cap.
May it never be.
Just to increase the creativity on the jokes and everything. Like, you gotta come up with new ones now.
Oh man, your creativity's in your hair. You're gonna mess up.
Yeah, dude, you're like
Yeah,
Samson. We can't be cutting that.
Samson.
Yeah, all your secret powers will go away. You will no longer be favored by the Lord if you cut your hair.
I'm gonna leave you guys out of like jokes to bury.
We actually need to see a picture of Igor.
Gonna be joyless.
Igor, do you have a picture of when you didn't have long hair? That'd be kind of
I do.
surprising.
We'll make that a goalpost.
The Igor sketch.
No, the Igor photo, the short hair photo.
He had that Justin Bieber hair back in the day, huh? The swoosh.
Oh,
But back when I was a kid, that was exactly like when I didn't have a choice.
Yes. That's awesome.
Wow, that's new lore even for me.
That's sad, Laura. That's very sad.
Those are sad times.
Nothing that has to deal with you is sad, my friend. Nothing that has to deal with you is sad. It is impossible. Well, let's dive right on in to the time lapses, and we're gonna switch things up a little bit this month, and we're actually gonna kick it off with Kanan's.
Oh, cool.
All right.
So,
let's get it started. Kanan, what is this? 5.5 minutes? Oh, cool. I can just let it roll as its normal pace. Heck. All right. Walk us through.
So basically, of course, Ripazine being the focus, I decided to do Salvage. The only reason why I picked Salvage is because if anybody's been following my social media, particularly on Twitter, I draw Saoirse literally almost every other day. So, you don't get a lot of Salvage fan art. Couple of ones I've seen are really well done, so I wanted to give him some glow. So yeah, the whole thing with this concept was just if you've read the first one, he predominantly works with like shipping and cargo type industry type stuff, and so he's an investigator for a lot of commercial companies. And so the concept behind this was just basically showing him doing what he does. He's investigating. He's at a what you'll see as the renders come in, a what do you call it, semi trailer or semi park, whatever you want to call it, where all the semis are collected. It is parked for the night or whatever. And so he's just kind of on the trail of something or somebody who's supposedly causing problems, which they'll actually show up. You can kind of see it in the sketch, but so he's just kind of feeling the ground and kind of seeing, get the texture or whatever he's feeling, and it's pretty much just doing the investigation thing. Really, like I said, just wanted to kind of emphasize for one that it was dark, really playing on, like I said, those trailer parks. I guess that's what they're called. Not just the ones people live in, but the one, where the semi trailers are. They're pretty isolated. So I wanted to kind of show that aspect as well. But as far as the rendering, I feel like I'm always trying something new, something different with the textures of clothing and stuff like that. So I think I'm kind of settling in on a way of how I want to do a lot of wrinkled clothing, and pulling from several sources, of people that I've seen that actually, do it similar to this way. And I said, really playing on the shadows and the lighting, and that's important when you're doing this style. Again, as I said it before, you need to have places where the eye can rest. If it's always a lot of shadow or not enough, sometimes it comes off heavy or not heavy enough. One thing that I know that I still have to work on is like doing backgrounds and stuff, especially city scenes, not so much buildings, but when you're street level, there's textures and shadows and things like that you also need to add, when you're, showing volume and depth and shape and stuff like that. But yeah, so I really wanted to, play on his clothes, man, just kind of trying to do something a little different. Not really different, just kind of honing it, I guess, really, with the cloak, or his not cloak, but his trench coat. Just playing with that, and like his face. That's the thing, man. I'll render it fully, man. I'm not ashamed to start over. So I did his face a few times, just kind of getting it right. I always felt like, and I still feel like, if anybody's watching the stream has grown up in the 80s or knows anything about Miami Vice, I always feel like he looks like Philip Michael Thomas. So every time I draw him, for those that don't know, it's Tubbs. I think that's Tubbs. His Crockett was Don Johnson, so Tubbs was the black guy. But I always think like Salvage, if he was real, he would look like Philip Michael Thomas. And if you guys look up Philip Michael Thomas, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, that's Salvage. So that's kind of my thinking every time I draw him. But really just, like I said, wanted to kind of put the viewer in the situation and really not just draw a pinup, but almost like a scene, and playing with the texture. That's the fun thing about art, man. Like, you always find new ways to kind of get the views and get the result that you're looking for, whether it be, in this case, I wanted to kind of show the ground was like gravel, not just dirt, because most of those, those truck parks are, it's usually like gravel or, some type of, cobblestone driveway or something like that. Cause, away from the actual road, they're just kind of parked off to the side. And so, you'll see some of the semi trailers in the background. And, then of course you'll see the Accept. That's, if you've read Salvage, the first one, that's the guy that's in it. He has the ability to leap and do other things. He's still being revealed as to who and what who he actually is. So, and of course at the end, adding the dust and the textures and, all that stuff to kind of bring it all together. So, that's Salvage, man. Probably that one thing I forgot to do. I was trying to, like, one of his acceptability is, I think he can like hear.
He's got the super hearing.
Yeah, super hearing. So I was gonna add like the little circular kind of,
like sound waves.
Yeah, and I forgot. So
that's all right. What I really like what you did, and I guess that's par for the course, because I always like whatever you do when it comes to drawing. But I'm not biased at all. But what's super cool here and what you just described was you didn't want to just do a pinup. You wanted to like tell a story. You wanted to set a scene,
Right.
and it brings to memory within the last I want to say a couple of months, maybe 3 months. One of my favorite artists, J. Scott Campbell, posted a reel on his Instagram, and he was doing some signatures, but he was also like going through some of his older covers, and he pulled up like that famous one, of MJ sitting cross-legged on the couch. You got Peter swinging off in the background, and there's all sorts of little finite details happening inside the apartment, and he talked about like the contrast between a cover like that and a lot of times what the covers he's asked to do now are, which is just a simple like single figure, whether it's a guy or a gal, no background, just quick pin up, and that's that. And he's like, that works and those do well, but like it's more fun to be able to tell a story, on the covers, and you don't see that done very often anymore in comics. Oftentimes it's just a single character on the cover, and to his point, that can absolutely look cool. Telling a story on the cover is where it's at.
I used to think, like, when people ask me for covers, I try to like get the idea of like, you look at it and it intrigues you, and then by the end of the book you understand more about the cover. Like the cover is telling a story. Then you come back to it and you're like, oh, this element is because of that in the story, and stuff like that. But it works better when you're the interior artist, because you know the ins and outs and what story you're telling, right? Like, so you can tell a whole story, and then like have the cover like kind of complement that in a way. But since we know the characters and everything like that, it's easier to do that.
It's like, capturing as much as you can, like you said, in one image, almost like you capture the moment, like from the book, whatever's happening on the cover. And I think those type of covers, of course, with the dynamic pinup, kind of super, almost like lack of a better word, like trading card shot, where it's like, the guy's just there. And so, it's those are awesome. But then, like you said, when you're able to tell a story, man, and actually, bring the reader into, and then, like you said, then they read it and they're like, oh, that's what that cover stood for. That's why he made XYZ. It adds more validity to what you did. And I think people really enjoy it, man, because, it feels like you're there. Like, it feels like you're actually part of the scene and not just a spectator, but you're involved. So,
and you can get so much out of it. Like, even if no one has read about like Salvage, like just seeing this tells you a lot about the character, right? Like, you can relate to like archetypes and like other stories, and like kind of like see the influence of everything that's behind it.
Right.
It's really cool to see like this.
I like the info, how you display the info of the story, I guess we'd say, in the image, where I started with the hand, like his hand at the bottom. He's investigating, then I looked at his face, and his reaction led me towards the guy on the top. Happens to be, running away from the scene. It has like this sort of like pattern, follow the clues. I really like that. Yep.
Thank you. Really. Like that's definitely the the vibe of, almost like, when you're listening for something, or you're doing something and you catch it at the last minute, like, what was that? Kind of thing. And especially with him, him having super hearing, even if the dude's trying to move silently, he can feel, freaking hear the dust shift, in the air, and kind of tell that he's moved somewhere, or somebody's moving behind him, or some sort of activity. So,
So what made you want to choose Salvage? Out of curiosity?
Honestly, just because, well, like I said, before, I was going to do Saoirse, just because.
And you've been drawing a lot of Saoirse this one.
Right,
just choose one of the many.
It's like, I've he doesn't get like I said, you don't see a lot of fan art of Salvage, but he was kind of like, if we had a flagship, Rippaverse character, which is Isom, then Salvage would be the flagship Ripazine. He was the one that kind of started everything.
Yeah.
And so, it's always cool, man, to see Salvage depicted, in various styles. I think one of the best, I think, fan art I've seen from Salvage, which inspired me to kind of do this, was the one by our own artist that does Bloodruth. He did a Salvage of him standing at the
I
corner, man.
only just saw that
bro,
piece
oh
like
my
a
gosh,
week ago on
bro.
Michael's Instagram, and I was like,
Yes,
"What the hell?
yes,
This
yes,
is amazing!"
yes. I was just like, dude,
I
like
was
that.
blown away.
That's what I'm talking about, bro. Like, and he's, he was the inspiration. I was like, so, doing Salvage, man, like I said, it makes sense, man. It's different. It's a change of pace, man. Also, it kind of, pushes you to, try a couple of different things, especially when it comes to his clothing, because he wears a coat and a jacket, and a vest
Got
and
a
a
lot
tie.
of folds, got a lot of wrinkles, got to account for, and each one
Yep,
of those materials is going to
yep,
fold or wrinkle differently,
yep.
right?
So, and the hat's cold, man. I mean,
That hat, yeah.
it's dope. So, but
That
yeah,
hat's clean.
that was mine. That's why I did Salvage. So
That's, man, I love that piece. It's ironic that you said that you don't often see fan art pieces of Salvage, which is true. But we actually did get a submission from a fan
oh
of
yeah,
Salvage
okay,
this month. Yeah, we did.
That's
It
awesome.
didn't wind up being the one that we picked because we have
okay,
picked his work before.
okay.
But shout out to Roberto. Like he
Oh
did a
yeah.
really cool kind of painted style
That's what's up.
Salvage piece. It was pretty rad. So shout out to you, man. And thank you for showing Salvage some love.
If I can get one more note in to
Absolutely,
everyone.
absolutely.
Regarding this piece, and especially for comic book artists, but for illustrators in general, like pay attention to what your character is looking at, because
Yeah.
it tells a lot of story and guides. Like Marcus was talking about, like how you go like through the page,
That's good.
and you can see like it's mainly about like eyes, the way the head's tilted, right, like it's turned, and hands. Like that's the main stuff that you want to look out for.
That's good.
People consider those difficult for a reason, for many reasons, but one of the reasons is because we really pay attention to it.
Yeah.
It tells a story on its own, and like you can guide your comic book panels pretty easily with like guys pointing at things and looking at
Right.
things. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
if you're out of ideas of how to compose a scene, like just have your character looking at something. It's gonna help with something.
I think one of the I know we're gonna move on, but
Oh, you're
when you
good.
talk about the eyes, I think one of the most challenging views of drawing eyes is making somebody, and I always push myself to try to do that. It's like they're not looking completely to the side, but they're almost like looking to the side and kind of up. So it's like this it's not directly like at a side view, but like when you capture that effect, it really adds like an intensity, man, to like the character's face. Like I'm not looking directly at you, but I'm looking not completely sideways, but just enough, man. Like it's a perspective, man, that really tells a story. And when you reminded me of that, Igor, when you're talking about like the eyes and the hands, and because those are a way we communicate, whether it be pointing, talking, gesturing, looking. You can tell when people are lying, by their eyes, if they blink 5 times or stuff, so your eyes and your face and your hands say a lot. And so artists, like you said, definitely pay attention to those different aspects. Body language, man, posture. Like you can have your character show sadness, man, and he not even be, show it on his face or whatever, or when they talk about making crazy characters where they smile and the expression doesn't touch their eyes, stuff like that. Like that's a thing.
Smile
Like that's
without
a thing.
their eyes smiling. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, like this dude's nuts.
That's an actual thing in psychology.
Yeah. So, but yeah, all those little things matter. So, yep.
Yeah, I love it. That what you were just describing there with the way that the eyes are looking, it gives the notion that his attention was just drawn to something, but he hasn't even had time yet to actually fully turn his head to look at whatever it was that just caught his attention.
Yep.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right, let's move on. All right. That move. All right. Next up, Marcos.
Love this piece.
This piece turned when Marcos showed me this piece, I'm very deliberately, I'm gonna do this moving forward actually. When we go through these time lapses, I'm gonna have them scooted forward just a second or two so that people don't see the finished image until we get to the end.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
guys, this piece turned out so well.
Yes.
It blew me away when
Thanks.
Marcos sent it to me. So you
Dude.
guys, I think you guys are gonna dig this too.
You do the best version of her.
Yep. Yep.
Thanks.
Yep.
I mean, hey, she was the main reason I chose her for this is particularly because she's one of my favorite female characters so far that I've done.
Yeah.
Especially by the ladies, by the Sasuke's. Because
Yeah.
usually they have me design like a 50 billion characters and most of them female, but this one stood out for me because of the simplicity of her her outfit.
Yeah.
Mixed out with the blue color and then the gloves and the blonde hair. I don't know. It just it felt like something simple but good. I don't know how to explain. Like it caught my attention even as I was designing her. But yeah, this scene, the idea was simply just she's looking for clues, a hint, and we are it. And she found us, and now
Yeah.
she's like picking us up, and she's like, "Oh, I found you." That the little bit at the end, I added a bubble of her saying that little text. That was thanks to Kanan because I wasn't going to put any dialogue or anything. I wanted it to leave it just as her, like just grabbing. And but yeah, it was a little bit hard to do the perspective on her, like the foreshortening on her arm in her hand, because it's a bit difficult to, especially when it comes to the bicep and the shoulder over there, to make the distinction with the little lines. It's actually a bit complicated. Most artists know this. Obviously, for foreshortening can be quite an issue. And then I also had a little bit of struggle with the other hand because the perspective and the distance, it was kind of hard to make it seem the correct size.
Mm-hmm.
And then her fingers, you can only see 3 mainly, but the other 2 are like hidden because of the position. It's just got them in. It's a little bit confusing to work early on, but I managed to do it. And yeah, you can tell I did the cross. It's sort of like floating to the side a little bit. Try to do a little motion with her and the hair a little bit as well, like she was just whooping in.
Right.
And right there, she grabbed you, and that's why the cross is. I felt like it would have been a little stiff. I just left it hanging. I wanted to add a little
It
motion
was a
to it.
great choice. Yeah.
No, little things like that make an otherwise still piece not a static piece.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What
I
I
felt
love.
like it would make it. Yeah, sorry.
No, you go. Go ahead, Marcos.
No, I was just saying that I feel like it would have made it just look better, having it with a little bit of motion.
I love. I think what I like about her character, and you capture it every time, is she's classic. Like it's like classic Hollywood, and I'm a stickler man for like vintage, classic, 1930s. I mean, the Hollywood actresses back then was like knockouts, man. Like this was like all one of my favorite actresses. What's her name? Oh my gosh, had it in my head, vanished. But yeah, everybody just seemed to have this like prestige about them, man. And this from Betty Davis to Greta Garbo to like these people are like, who are these people? Like, dude, they're classics. Ginger Rogers, they were classic Hollywood, man. And you don't see that much anymore. But like everybody was like stunners, and Dorothy Dandridge, Lena Horne, my gosh, like just so many. And every time I see her, I feel like, man, she's kind of like, actually her and her partner, they're kind of like characters out of time that they fit. They're in within the universe of today, man, but they were like almost like, yeah, sweetheart, kind of like if you hear them talk, like, yeah, see, they would like still have that old type of speech, and lighting and shadows are crazy, but like you
Thanks.
feel that, but I love like even her posture, like it's very classic, man. It's that hand on the hip, kind of like a strut almost that you would see back in the day, man. That a lot of those the artists would have, from Marilyn Monroe to Elizabeth Taylor, and so that's why every time I see you draw her, man, it's like you capture that mood and that atmosphere and that era, with her very well. And I believe that's kind of what she was, supposed to be kind of, playing on, or, paying tribute to, Jane Mansfield and, all those guys, girls and ladies from yesteryear, man. So, well done.
That's basically what the Saskas wanted. They wanted her to be some sort of homage to that type of character.
That's awesome.
Oh, you nailed it.
Yeah.
You really nailed it in the concept
Thanks.
and in this piece. Yeah, she is by far one of my favorites, if not favorite from the female ones, because of the I think you mentioned the simplicity, and I think that's it.
Mhm.
Like, simple and effective. Like,
Yep.
you have everything you need to recognize her from like a mile away. Whenever you see
silhouette,
if you see a piece, and she works like so well. Also, I love the character. Like, people are getting the Ripazine now, right? Like, Ripazine 4.
Catch and Kill.
Yeah, people have
Yeah.
started receiving Zine 4.
And she's
started,
amazing. That
late
story.
last week.
Yeah, she's by far the most interesting character. Like, in that story, the other characters are very interesting, but she takes it like to a whole new level, because you don't expect that. Like, you don't expect. I don't know if it's because of the saturation in media, where like every female character is just mean, like, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. She has a totally different tone.
Yeah.
Herself.
Got a mystery like to her.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's classy. That's the best word for her. It's classy.
Classic. Yeah.
It's very good.
True.
Like, there's the actress I was trying to think of, man. If you guys look her up, chick was freaking gorgeous. Her name was Lauren Bacall. And man, dude, like, I mean, I was like, oh, and that's kind of what she kind of reminds me of, like that type of character, like that type of personality. But she was, in her younger days, man, like, she was a stunner. And like, when people saw her, it was just like she lit up the room. And that's kind of like Betty. Is that her name, Betty? It is Betty, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like she stands out without trying to. And I love that there's and you capture, like, so you capture it well. You could tell that she's got, I'm not trying to reveal any of the book, man, but there's this, there's always this, like, I don't want to say worry in her face, but always this like concern, and I love the fact, man, like you see that in that type of character, man, and it's not necessarily weakness as it is sometimes, man. It's because they care so much as a character. Like, they're always concerned about how people, feel or think or da-da. And I feel like she's that type of character, especially when
She
it
has
comes
an
to her partner.
ever-present, like, air of caution about her.
Yeah. Caution and empathy. I'd say even empathy, especially when it comes to like her partner and, the things that they, get involved in as you read the story. But beautifully done, man. Love the leather glove, dude. That one on the hip. I was like, yo.
That's really good.
Yeah, this is one of your best pieces, Marcos.
We say that every correct, like this.
I feel like, I do feel like we say that frequently, but the fact of the matter is, he's like pushing himself, and I feel like this piece was really pushing himself, right? To add in so many different elements that, even for it just to be a single character, there are a lot of elements here that are very tricky to do on their own, but doing them all together, it just kind of
I didn't add a background, by the way, just for that. Exactly, because I didn't need one. I was looking
Yeah.
at her. I was like, I don't think this needs a background. I just smacked
Yeah.
more black and white. The black to like accentuate the lighting on her, and then the
Mhm.
bubble as well.
You need it.
And
Yeah, and the contrast doesn't like get in the way of the gloves and everything.
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, the
I tried
highlighting
it
that
the
you
other way
did
around.
on the glove that's in the foreground, you did that well, so that it sticks out more than well enough against the black, which is still up there in the background at that part of the
There's
piece.
only one thing I look at it now that I'm like probably could have changed, and it's her eyebrows. She looks kind of like expressionless a little bit. Like maybe raise an eyebrow a little bit more or something. But that's like just looking at it from the character's perspective, at least. I don't
I
know.
don't think it hurts because she knew what she was looking for. And, like,
Yeah. I say
Yeah,
if you just add in like a line over the eyebrow on the left or right, I mean that would be perfect
Yeah.
because it's raised already. I think you just don't have the line to show that it's up or elevated.
Oh yeah,
But other than that,
yeah,
man,
true.
I don't think I think you did fine, bro. Like it is
Thanks.
solid.
By the way, to whoever decided that we were doing mostly black and white for these, thank you, because I'm really enjoying just shading like this.
Yeah.
Like
really
you have no
good.
idea how
Yeah.
fun it is to land those like the form on her hip, and
Yeah.
the wrinkles and all that stuff with the black and white. That's grayscale. It's so fun. I don't like. That's probably my favorite part of the process.
Your grayscale, bro, is
Colors.
crazy good.
Yeah, it's crazy good. It's
Thanks.
ready for color, and it's gonna be an easy job to color.
Yes.
If you add
Yeah.
flat colors, it's already done. Like the values are all there.
Yep.
It's really
True.
good.
Excellent piece, Amigo. Any final thoughts on this
Thanks.
one, gentlemen?
Nope.
No. All right. That's a great. Betty is already a great piece.
Yes.
That piece of Betty is that much
Is
more.
that
Great.
rhymed a little bit? Betty's already.
Betty's already. So
All right. And speaking of, it's ironic, Marcos, that you said, whoever
colors.
decided that we were doing these mostly black and white and no color,
'Cause I
Igor decided to
cheated.
color his piece.
Just out of nowhere. It's just all right, color.
Well,
Nah,
I will take the blame for that actually, and y'all will see why in a minute. But after he posted the final line work, I was like, so what are the odds of you considering coloring that if you find the time? It doesn't have to be, before we record or whatever. If it's sometime afterwards, just let me know if you feel like coloring that. And then he's like, I'll see if I can find the time. And then he posted the colors. Was it yesterday? And I was like,
Yeah,
choice.
yesterday.
I was losing my mind. But let me pull up this piece. And guys, there will be a poll going up in the chat after we go through all the gentlemen's pieces, and you guys can vote on which is your favorite for this month. Who will keep the belt, which is yet to be designed. So we'll get around to that at some point. I know I keep saying it, but finding the time for things is like finding a unicorn. It's very difficult. All right, here we go. All right, brother. I'm going to attempt to remain calm throughout this piece.
He's not.
So, I said attempt. I didn't say I'd be successful. Okay.
I think I know his favorite piece this month. Just
I hold no
right,
bias.
right, Marcos. Right.
I hold no bias. All right, walk us through, brother.
All right. So I was looking at like the Rippaverse, the Ripazine characters, and I really like Andrew's story with the Blue Shift. So I decided to make like a kind of a more heartwarming, because I've been leaning into comedy a lot, like with Braxwell holding Isom, Scar, and everything, like just trying to make jokes. And I was like, yeah, maybe I can try to convey a different feeling. So I went for a more cheerful, kind of heartwarming pose and story, and the two characters, like that childish like romance and everything that goes in with like Trinity and Zephyr, kind of took out like since we have the campaign going on, I was like, yeah, this seems like a good thing to try and nail, because it's very difficult to convey in a single like image and everything. So I was trying to think of the best way to make that happen, and I felt like, well, teenagers like to take selfies and everything, and girls like to take more selfies than boys, I think, because my wife is always taking pictures of everything. So I was like, yeah, well, I'm gonna try and make like so that Trinity is kind of like taking a photo with Zucker without his consent or something like that, and kind of pinching his. So I tried to add like few elements to make it more realistic and like intimate from perspective. And then once the line work was done, I was like, yeah, it is too clear, right? Like you're gonna see once I finish inking, I'm trying to, because I take the opportunity of the pieces to try different brushes, different techniques. I'm trying to get my line work to be more concise, mainly because I see Kanan's artwork and the line work is always like thin, like very thin, very like the precision of the brush strokes are always there. And mine is kind of hectic. I end up with like some stuff that I don't really like. The borders are too like bold sometimes. So I'm trying to have more control over that aspect of everything. And I was trying to make the lines very thin, very control the inner lines mainly, like trying to use different brushes. So I ended up with a piece that didn't have a lot of volume to it, didn't have that, I don't know, it was missing something, and that something was colors. So I decided to start coloring it. I already had like the flat kind of done when Andrew messaged me, so I just took the opportunity to take a couple of hours. Once my kid was asleep, I finished the piece. So you see me rendering like the hair now, kind of adding reflection. If you try to keep the motion to the same size, so if the hair is going like this, you try to add the reflection like this, because the bumps and everything in the strands of hair is going to make that a kind of wobbly that we see, because the light is hitting us different. You can see in my hair here. Like, so it's not going to be like a straight like this. It's going to be hitting at different points. It's
Perfect.
really easy.
But
yeah, once you get the hang of it, to try and convey something realistic, especially with dark hair, is not that difficult and gives a cool effect. Yeah, so I'm trying to add some hatches. You're going to see, if I zoomed in, because I was zoomed in, you're going to see that I add and I erase a ton of lines there because they are young. So you're not supposed to be adding like all these lines and things like that. So you try to be as clear as possible. And it was always kind of the exercise for me to make this happen with as few lines as I could. Fewer lines.
yeah, like the cheeks and the
yeah, like I kind of just showing pressure, but not like overdoing it, right? Like I wanted to have something. So for
right, like where her cheek is like leaning into his, and you know where she's pinching, like that's primarily where you put those extra lines.
Yeah.
So
Because the younger you look, the rounder the face.
Yeah. As you get old, like me, you start to like show wrinkles and everything. Like every war crime that you face, like that start to show in your face. But yeah, they're still young, ripe, like just ready for like disappointment and everything. It's starting to get dark. So
Jeez, young and ready for disappointment. Wow, how about that?
Jeez,
my gosh,
the dreams shattered. Like, wow,
and your dreams shattered by the weight of time. No, I'm joking, guys. You have your whole life ahead of you. So I'm losing the focus on the coloring stuff. Sorry.
You're good.
Yeah, so it might seem complicated because it was for me for a long time, but once you get the hang of it, like painting characters, especially when you don't have a background, you don't have anything else to do, becomes like just grab, if you're learning, grab a reference. If you're already comfortable enough, focus on the shadows, because that's where the trick's at. Like you focus on the shadows. Once you get the tones in, you start messing around with like highlights and everything else. But you need to nail like the look with the shadows. Like that has to be the main thing that worked for me, because I was lost. I was adding too much, having too much contrast. Like when I started coloring, I was adding too much light to everything. Yeah. And if you focus on getting the shadows done and it looks good, then it's just about not messing things up. Like don't add too much. It's good, because you're gonna mess things up. But yeah, so it's just about like highlights here and there. You get to know like the planes of the face, where the light's gonna hit and everything, before adding like bounce light and other stuff. I obviously have a lot to learn when it comes to painting, but yeah, coloring is still like the most challenging thing.
I love everything about this piece. But I love that when you were doing the coloring, so the way that you handled the lighting, it does come across as that lighting is in such a way because she's taking the photo there, and so you got a little bit of a flash happening, right? And so you see that in the highlights that are kind of centered, right, on their faces, and that works. And it's also, it would shine off of things like, maybe her glossy lipstick or off of her jewelry, right? And you're seeing that. I also love that you gave him the like deep emerald green eyes, because he doesn't have light green eyes. He has deep emerald green eyes like Sonic, right? That's where those came from. And so I love this piece so much. It makes me this piece genuinely, if I get to write more Blue Shift, this piece literally inspired a scene for me.
Oh, that's great to hear.
That I am going to write if I get to write more.
Nice. I'm happy to hear that.
That's awesome.
I'm pretty sure Zephyr wouldn't mind Trinity just coming up to him like that. Earlier you said he wouldn't consent. I'm pretty sure he would.
Right, exactly. Yes. I love you mentioned the flash, Andrew, which is weird because I don't even know you realize it actually looks like LED light rather than just like a light. Like LED lights are different, they light differently. And to all the colorists out there, I'm going to say this: please draw the flash. Don't use a filter. Like, please draw the actual flash. So many people go to the lens flare tool or the little lens flare, and they're like, no, draw the flash.
You know what's funny? Like, I took a brush that I never used.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, maybe this will do the trick. Like, and once you make it, like, people believe whatever the heck you use, because there is no like correlation to, if you try to make it too realistic, you're gonna fail, because I'm gonna use this brush or that brush. Like, I use a textured brush that I never used for anything. Yeah. And if you like, you just have to focus on this. Like,
I mean, like whatever, like what makes and achieves the look and the feel, man. Like I like how you also even though you didn't bank on the background first, like get that dialed in, you still made it a compliment, because it's still a compliment to the kind of yellowish colors and the golds and the stuff that's actually in the primary part of the piece, our bracelets and necklace. So it's still complementary colors. It just worked together. So but yeah, like, love the lighting on their faces, man. His face, the shock is like, oh my God, she actually touched my face, kind of thing. But yeah, and even how you handle their skin tones, because as she's Asian, and then he's white, Irish, everyone, so you got the two compliments. And so many times, man, like, you have colors that tend to use like the same color, but even whether you're black, white, or whatever, our skin tones change. There's different browns, there's different whites, there's different, or peaches, or Caucasian
they
color.
flush differently, right? Yes. They react differently to light. So
Some people have more blood flow, so their skin is redder. Some people have less, which is why they're pale. So you get all those, and then also, like you said, the surroundings, picking up the purple of the background, that actually will create a light, and then the light from the actual flash, and stuff like that. So yeah, like you nailed this, man. That's crazy.
It's funny. I really like how everything was looking before the final piece as well. But before the coloring, I really enjoyed the when you turned it blue, the sketch you started kind of black and then turned blue, and then to the inks. That looked great, by the way. Like I don't know if you could go back on the thing. It felt like I don't know, back when it was like just blue.
Like traditional, man. Yeah, like the blue line paper.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know why. It just looked so good. It looked like right out of a comic book panel, like just the sketchy nature of it.
The pencils, I think there is some charm about the pencils. I was talking to a DC artist that's my teacher, and he was mentioning like inks aren't supposed there is like an inherent like downfall to inks where they look stiff, right? Like because the pencils look so great, right? Like whenever I look at this, I was like, man, they could look like this in the end, like because it's loose. You're playing fast, you don't worry about mistakes and everything. Like then your ink is like your whole like array of insecurities come out. Like, I need to know this line.
There's a meme that's like the sketch looks like a masterpiece, and then the ink is just like all like wrinkly and ugly.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I mean, that's why, man. It's crucial, man. Who you have ink. If you don't ink yourself, it's crucial who you have ink, because your pencils can look immaculate. Let me stop. I was about to.
The right or wrong inker can make or break the most beautiful pencils in the world.
Exactly. Like
I was about to,
and they don't get enough credit for that. Like
right. I was about to reveal.
I'm not saying that, by the way, about yours. I'm not saying like it looked better then and now it looks weird. I'm just saying like, I really like the sketch. Yeah.
No, I was just saying, like in general, man, like not having the right inker, man, like it'll make amazing pencils look interesting. But it's real world events, people. Real world. No, but you're right though, Marcos. Like the pencils, takes me back to that blue line where you just you use the blue pencil, man, and you sketch it out and get it ready for the next stage. And so very good, man.
Thanks.
Everything's balanced. He feels like a teenager. It's got, that's not easy to do. So
I think we know which one's Andrew's favorite.
A little bit.
No,
but the people who watch are about to vote. That's the thing that matters.
What matters is it's the people, the fans. I love all of these pieces.
Like just some more.
It's like I love all of my kids equally, just some more than others.
It's like vote for your favorite. I said vote for your favorite. This is coughing.
Yeah, I'm here to win, right? Like
Igor came to play to win, man. Like,
he did.
No, but it's really funny. Like I love doing this. Like I know sometimes we let it like come down to the wire because we have so much to do, but it's nice to be free enough where you can play with like different brushes, different techniques.
Yep.
I feel like it allows us, and it kind of shows what the Rippaverse has been about, right? Like, because we get to make so many pieces that we get to try different brushes, different settings, drawing your character in a different way. Like I feel all of that helped us all, like the three of us here, improve so much in terms of art because of that. Like we have some freedom to explore different things, and art is a little bit about that, right?
It's a great way to exercise your craft in between like official projects.
It is.
Right? You get to try out different things that you say, oh man, I really actually like what I did with that. I'm gonna market that for the next cover I do, or for the next design I do, or the next interiors, whatever it is, right? You get to like work things out in a kind of more just kind of fun, casual capacity, but that doesn't mean that you don't get to take away stuff from that and learn that and keep that in your tool belt for the foreseeable future and just continue to kind of build on it. And like I also love that this is just vibrant.
Yes.
It pops, and that's super important. I'm very gracious and thankful that Andrew Kramer, who was the colorist on Blue Shift Tryouts short story in Ripazine, which introduces Zephyr and introduces Trinity, that people will see that it's vibrant color, because that's meant to set the tone of the story as well. It's meant to be vibrant. It's meant to be.
We definitely made sure of that.
Yeah,
The concept art.
yeah, brighter.
Yeah, but it is a preference of mine as well, and I was happy to make this piece because of that. Like, I could see it colored before it was colored, so that's a piece that you just have to color, right? Like, because you see it working. Like, I didn't have many questions about like the colors that I was using, the lighting, because it kind of was already kind of planned in my mind in a way. I love the vibrant colors. I think they are eye-catching. There is room, obviously, for like more muted tones and like palettes, color palettes. But I think comics they owe a lot, at least, to these kind of like coloring techniques and color choices, where it used to be brighter and you would catch the attention of the public with that. I think there's value into that.
I agree. Yep.
Amazing work, brother. Thank you so much for choosing my characters. They're my kids, man. These are my kids.
And congratulations on that, like on the air, because it's
true.
Like a feat to create something that resonates with people. We've seen like the feedback on the characters already, like internally and externally. People are really enjoying what they're seeing.
Yep. All the fan art
feedback.
Yeah.
By the way, sorry, Andrew. I was just gonna ask Igor, was that a Easter egg type of reference or intentional or something? The flash from the phone, because the flash speedster.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. There is no other lights in the world.
I just realized that. I was like, hold on, he added a flash to the speedster piece.
It's the true flash.
Yeah.
Sorry,
all right.
You were saying, Andrew.
Yeah, no, it's extremely humbling to see people's response to the character's design. Like, hopefully they feel the same way after they read it.
I'm sure they will.
But in terms of the design, I'm super proud of it and of everybody that has contributed to it. So, and speaking of people that have contributed to it, we're gonna go through the fan piece before I throw up all three of the gentlemen's pieces here for y'all to look at and vote for your favorite.
I'm glad you added throw up all the fans. I was like, what, bro? It's like, our make you sick, Andrew? Damn.
No. In fact, seeing this piece darn near made me tear up. So this piece comes from Scribbles, and they sent a very heartwarming email to me a handful of days ago, late last week, along with this piece, and said your enthusiasm and how much passion you seem to have for your creation, like really resonated with me, and like it made me really want to draw your character. I don't know if I'll ever get used to what that felt like. And this piece is just so much fun. Gentlemen, y'all are the artists. I'm gonna stop talking.
It jumps out of the screen. I like that.
Yes.
Out of the panel.
The motion and
I always like that type of. Yep.
Love it. See, I love the fact that a lot of artists, even myself included, man, are getting away from action lines and are actually showing, when I say the action line, like the swoosh kind of effect that you see usually to show movement, and are actually doing it more like really adding elements of kind of like the manga kind of vibe, man, because that's how they show like action or people throwing punches or kicks or strikes or running. I did a picture of Michael Copper where he's throwing the hook. It's kind of that same vibe, man. So hats off to Scribbles, man. Like you nailed the movement and the speed of in Blue Shift right here, man. Like it looks amazing. The pose, him hurdling the wall at super speed, the other action lines in the background just complement the dynamicism of the picture, man. So yeah, very well done. That's a cover, bro. Or a poster.
That is for sure. That is something that Andrew's gonna print and have in his room.
Right.
For sure.
My wall in my room is just going to become like 24 by 36 posters of every Zephyr piece.
He's not obsessed. No,
not at all. Not
but it is a very cool piece. Like the way like you put forward the legs, and then like it's not afraid of like putting one over the character, because usually people want to show everything, right? Just covering it, like adding the action lines, like you mentioned, to motion on the leg. Like that's very much a manga thing to do, that more people should know and learn how to use, right? Like
exactly.
So many great action scenes because of that. Like this shows the movement.
Yep.
In a big swoosh, pardon the pun. But yeah, it's really good. Like everything about this, it's great. I like that the character is not over the buff, which is something.
Yeah.
That's important. Like that was super important to me.
Yeah.
I remember when both when I was talking with Kanan and with Marcos in terms of adapting the Andrew sketch, it was important for me that he's slender, he's slim, right? In terms of if I were to pick like an actor that I was, using as my visual inspiration, is Andrew Garfield in the Amazing Spider-Man films, right? He's very slender, he has muscle, but he's not bulky by any stretch of the imagination, right? He's meant, and that's not just because he's young, but also like when he's a little older as well, like he's meant to still be slim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's just fit for his height and age. So he's not buff. He's just fit. He's fit.
Yeah,
and he's a runner. Like that's and that's with comparisons to the other characters that are speedsters. He actually ran track.
He didn't skip leg day.
Yeah, I mean, like instead of just getting like the ability to run, like some other characters, like he actually ran track. So that's one of the things that me and Andrew, and I'm sure he talked to you, Marcos, about it, and you, Igor, as well. We wanted him to actually feel like he's a runner. So
he's already doing it.
Even his form, there's ways that when you see a runner start off, sprinters particularly, there's a foot drag that they do to build speed, and then they don't look up right away. It's a build, and then as they get to that point, and then by the time they're up already, they're learning like full speed, but all the build up.
That's when they're shifting into gear.
Yes. But all that build up at the beginning is what makes, I'll just use some of the ladies, that I can think of, if you watch track or anything, a Shelly Ann Fraser Price versus somebody like, Sha'Carri Richardson or somebody else, like there's an explosive power. And so, like you said, once they get to that, and the longer you hold it, it's just like a swimmer. The longer they can stay underwater, building that momentum when they come up, they're already, and everybody's like, man, like if you come up early, you're already expounding so much energy. But the longer you stay under, man, you're building momentum. Same thing as a runner. The longer your head is down, you're building, and you're building, and you're building, and you're building.
Less wind resistance.
Once you get up, you're just exploding. So that's one of the things like with Zeph, man, is like, we wanted him to not just be your typical runner, man, but actually feel, accurate, so people who do run, like, oh yeah, he's actually a runner, he's got the form, or Yeah, man, I ran track. That's pretty dope. Shout out to all the track people. I didn't run it because I'm not a track guy, but
I did.
I will walk.
Eric himself.
I will walk
Eric,
fast
as
to the
did
finish
Eric.
line.
Yeah. So we have 3 in the team.
Yep.
Yeah, because Eric, yeah.
So I will walk fast to the finish line. No.
Very
It's funny you
powerful
say
walk.
that. It's funny you say that, by the way, about the character loving what he was already doing before getting the powers. Because when I started thinking about it, I was like, when the Flash got his powers, it was just like a lightning struck him, and he was a scientist and all that, and all of a sudden he just wants to run.
Yeah.
It made me think of that. Like, you're actually right. Usually, it's not like a transition of what they were doing and then upgrading.
Yeah, you look at all
Usually
the
it's just something.
traditional speedsters in, whether it's, Marvel, DC, Image,
Mhm.
wherever, Excel, right? Like all of these guys, they didn't come, and gals, didn't come from running. Right?
Yeah.
Whereas, and that was a differentiating factor that I wanted to have. You've got, at the end of Incredibles, sure, you've got Dash wanting to do track and all of that, but that was still after, right? Rather than like this person, like they're a runner. They can't just run fast. They're a runner who can run fast.
Which also makes you think, like, because they have the form, are they faster? Because they actually know how to run. I always thought about, it's funny. I know that people that, myself included, couldn't stand the Flash movie because for various reasons. And the way he ran was stupid. But I mean, if you don't run profesessionally, you may flail. Exactly, Marco. You may flail.
Yeah.
You may
don't know the difference. Yeah.
Doing these numbers.
Do some weird dance.
Right. Kids look at their feet like, like you have no form. So
all the time, right? Like, you see people that don't run, not looking at like how to run, and then running and looking like completely.
Running like a Naruto ninja would be more effective than the speed skating stupidity
You know what?
that
It
was
reminds
happening
me
in
of
this movie.
Kanan's comment reminds me of like have you guys seen After, like that Shyamalan movie with like Jaden Smith? Where,
which one?
After.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and Jaden Smith like runs, and they were like discussing the behind the scenes. I don't know why I know this, but they were discussing how would like someone that runs like differently, like they just learn how to run faster than everyone else, and you watch the movie and like the silliest run of all time is running like with his back behind, like kind of pushing back against himself. It's like the running is running for a reason. Like once you learn how to run fast, there is no like smarter way to run. Like you just run.
Yeah, it's automatic.
You can look good running, but like to run fast, like you just run. Like there's no reinventing the wheel when it comes to these things, and people like overthink this. It's one of the most basic stuff that we do.
That's like, I always think, man, like if I ever drew like somebody like the Flash in in the other universes, I would keep in mind that he's not a runner. So you said he would be flailing, arms would be all but bad form, head up, like
elbows too high, maybe.
Right?
But
I mean, I always think of was it that TV show back in the day? I'm dating myself, but there was a show called The Greatest American Hero, and he got his suit from an alien ship, but he lost the gyroscope that goes with it. So every time he would take off, instead of like Superman, like dude would be like boom.
Yeah,
it's like he doesn't fly, so he's never flown before. So he would be like, and like he would never land. He would always crash. He would hit walls, and he'd be like, oh.
I'm the youngest here, and I know that. Just because my dad's. I remember that show.
But he would take off sideways. He would be like,
yeah.
It was like ugly, but it's like I said, if you never flown before, like like how many people human bodies actually fly, so it's like, it's a different dynamic. So all that to say, man, like, with Zeph, man, like really showing that's kind of what sets him apart from a lot of speedsters, that he can actually run. He actually ran track, so that coupled with his ability, he just makes him that much more awesome. So
yeah, and I love about this piece, like the single point of contact, like has so much strength to it.
Yep.
Like, everything else is distorted, and then just like that hits, like you can feel the strength and it, like just pushing him over the side. Like every single gesture here is very well done. It's really cool.
I especially love. You mentioned it earlier. He added that manga effect of how a lot of manga artists will handle speed and motion, right? Where it's this blurred mix of still seeing the full shape of the, like in this case with his feet, right, and his legs, his lower legs, but also adding some like very minute speed lines to them. I don't know what that technique is called in the technical sense, but it looks fantastic here, and I
like motion blur.
Yeah, I guess kind of like a motion blur, and it's not something that you see that frequently in comics, in Western comics.
Yeah, exactly.
So that makes me love it all the more because I also love manga.
I'll say one more thing, man, that's like really stands out is the way he did the bricks. Like it's the perspective on it is like perfect, and they actually feel like bricks. They don't like feel like somebody gritted the lines. It was like, okay, let me just repeat the pattern all the way down. Like they actually feel like bricks.
Actually drawn.
That's a good point.
Yeah. They're not like all the same. It's not just a straight line going over them. Actually,
and then just adding a few dividing vertical straight lines to make it look like more or less the shape of bricks. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, the contrast, everything. Very good. Like solid piece, 10 out of 10.
Good use of tones, man.
Yeah, great use of the tones. Great. I love, so something that's been super cool for me is seeing each artist's different take on the suit. There are slight differences that each artist that has drawn it has done it, whether it's the specific positioning of the golden bolts up here, whether it's connecting the ear bolts with the patterning, the gold on the shoulders with a line. Marcos does that, and I love it. I've yet to see a way that I don't like, but it's one of those things where it's like each artist has kind of their own signature way of drawing a thing, and so it's like, this is how this artist does this, right, and this is how that one does it, and it's so cool seeing so many different takes on how it looks. I do love, especially because this was something that is very visually integral, at least, having like his hair is trailing behind him. I like how he added that, and it also just adds more dynamic movement to the piece that already has a ton of dynamic movement, but his hair trailing behind him like that, there's more to that, and he added that there. So fantastic piece, Scribbles. Gentlemen, any other final thoughts on this
Rest
one?
in peace, the cameraman. About to get by this. Sorry.
It's true, actually.
The foot about to connect.
Yeah, that foot's about to take somebody's head off, practically. Actually.
Also, I like the detail with the energy.
Yeah, the lightning.
I had to make it blue as well to contrast, because otherwise it would have been kind of lost in all the lines.
Very good.
But I really like
it
fits with the motion. Yeah,
that is true, because there are a lot of lines already happening in this piece, and so that was a good call to because I'm noticing now, so the energy lines that are on the black parts of the suit, so whether it's on the forearm, on the thigh, he did it with the nodes that are on the suit, because that's where the energy comes out of,
the eyes.
and on the eyes and out of the symbol, because he's not the Flash. He's not just constantly surrounded by lightning all over his body. It's specifically coming out of the nodes on the suit. And so
It's not really lightning either, right?
yeah,
It's just
just
like
energy.
form of energy.
Plasma,
Yeah.
some form of plasma energy.
And so that was a great call. And yeah, it makes it so those parts of the piece pop rather than getting lost, like you said, in all of the lines that are happening.
He
Which
even
there
had
are a
the
lot.
Kirby crackle on me. A little bit of
Yeah.
Kirby crackle in there.
A little bit, yeah. A
Yes.
little bit of Kirby crackle. I'm here for it. Great
Yes.
piece, man. Thank you so much for submitting it. That is our fan piece for this month. So I appreciate you. All right, I'm gonna pull up the wide piece that's got all three of y'all's prompts while we hit the discussion topic briefly before putting this baby to bed. So poll is going to be now going up in the chat, and y'all can vote for your favorite piece for this month. 3 phenomenal choices, guys. There's no wrong answer here. Right? Yeah, because they're all very unique from each other. They're all very distinct and different. All right. So let me pull up the discussion piece. All right. So the discussion piece for this month is fairly simplistic. Won't be a super in-depth one like we've had in the last couple, but the Ripazine has been this kind of testing ground for new characters and new stories, sure. But what I want to hone in on is that each issue of the Ripazine that has introduced new characters and new stories has introduced them as very unique and different from what we already have going on. Right? Each one is introducing a character who allows you to see our universe, or at least a pocket of our universe that we're building here, through a completely different set of eyes, right? In Salvage, you're seeing it kind of the street level view, but you're seeing it through the eyes of someone who is a private investigator with superpowers. And on top of that, he has a specific focus with his private investigation. He tends to deal mostly in like missing things, in lost and found type stuff, right? Finding what's missing, finding what's been stolen. Saoirse, on the other hand, is a little more hands-on, and she's tackling the private, while she's also a lethal force certified private investigator. Her perspective and what we see is entirely different from Salvage's, and she deals in entirely different cases. Then you take the crew of the Dirty Deeds. Right now, we're not even looking at Florist Park at all. We're not even looking at Earth. We're off in the cosmos, and we're following this ragtag group of misfits, right, through space and the crazy adventures that they go on. And they're this, eclectic sort of found family group of characters, each one with a very unique personality and perspective, and so on and so forth. You got Catch and Kill by the Saskas. Winslow and Betty offer a completely unique perspective, even though we're back in Florist Park and in the streets. Their eyes are entirely different. Right. And then now with Ripazine number 5, what people will see through Zephyr's eyes is an entirely different perspective. So what has been kind of like y'all's favorite thing, whether it was in the process of creating or helping to create some of these characters, or just experiencing the characters alongside the fans? What has been kind of like your favorite new perspective that's been added via these Ripazine characters, and what kind of additional perspectives would you like to see down the road without NDA?
Without NDA. I know for me, being able to, actually, contribute to some of the art in one of the Ripazines. What was fun with Saoirse was we created a lower third part of Florist Park. which is more like the seedy part of town. So you had for being able to create a diner. I think it was called July's. It was like a pub, something like that, and then a theater, grocery stores, little things like that, in that part of town. I think for me, that's the beauty of the Ripazine, is that we're expanding Florence Park, in Rippaverse. And he said beyond that, beyond Florence Park, the Rippaverse as a whole, going into space. I know we had Zaylan, which was in the primary, but I love the Rippaverse because Rippaverse almost tells, like, even though these are tryout stories for characters and stuff, it's almost like, meanwhile, this is happening. I love, one of the things that, and I know people kind of like, became instant fan was the pigeon stories, because you got to see what the pigeon was doing when the eagle's nest went down, for Alpha Core, stuff like that, and what this happened, and then what this was going on. And so it's always cool to have those stories. I remember they did it, I think it was in the Lion King. I think it was like Lion King 1 point or 1.5. So it was Timon and Pumbaa's perspective of what was happening with Simba and Nala, and they're like, "Oh my God, our friend, no." So you got to see kind of like, meanwhile, this is what's happening over here, and that's why I feel like so many things go on in Florence Park, inside and out, and the Rippaverse as a whole. A lot of these newer stories, you get to see what's going on in the rest of the city, in the rest of the universe. At the same time, Salvage is solving the crimes. You got, Winslow and Betty trying to get the next story, and trying to figure out what's going on. They could literally cross paths with Saoirse, who's grabbing information, from somebody's, house in the Hamptons kind of vibes kind of thing. So like, it's like all these different things are going on. You got the big story, Alpha Core and Horsemen, and, all these, but then you also got like the everyday situations that are going on that, we solved the crime here, and okay, you got this going on, because there's so much happening. So I love all that to say, I'm loving like being able to expand on the Rippaverse and Florence Park, man, and show different sides. I love to if he had something that he said that I would love like to expound on or see more of, it'd be interesting to see, I don't know, like, and we get a little bit of it in a lot of it actually in Great War, but it'd be interesting to have a perspective of like the military from the average soldier, that's watching and observing all this stuff happen, and you're just the guy that checks in every day. It's like, and you see, Brian do this, and you're like, oh my God, or even like from a soldier that used to serve with, Brian when he was in the military. And it's like, man, I remember that kid was such and such. And of course, Brian,
I know what you want.
Yeah, Brian doesn't age, but this guy, he's probably in his like 70s. He's just like, wow, I remember blah blah blah. I got some stories for you. Kind of like things. That'd be kind of cool to show aspects of that. So, yeah. Hope I didn't NDA anything. Okay, good.
You were good. I would have slapped you with an NDA and said,
do the cough.
Yeah. Have Jordan insert some dolphin sounds or something.
You're right.
The dolphins.
Awesome.
All right, who's next?
I can go.
Yeah.
So I think my favorite part about all of this, like Kanan was mentioning, and I'm kind of like, yeah, I love that type of story, like when it goes into the behind the scenes of it all, like what's going on in the city as the heroes are heroing around or something like that. I really liked one of my favorite characters is Question from DC Comics, and the run that is called Zen and Violence by Dennis O'Neil.
Mm.
It's like great stuff and investigative stuff. There's a bunch of stories where Vic Sage is like getting beaten, like trying to get to clues, and like he isn't like the most capable. Batman has a talk to him, like, you shouldn't be doing this without like being able to defend yourself and stuff like that. And it really like stuck to me, like, what's the normal guy doing? Because Batman's not normal, right? Like it's a proper superhero. Like that's just the average guy trying to investigate something. So Betty and Winslow for me is like those 15, 16 pages have like the tone, and things go grim, and you see behind the scenes like people bribing each other to get info and everything. I love that stuff. I really I would read stories about that like all day long, like because it makes the setting interesting, where like there are a bunch of superheroes and things are happening, but it tells you the story of the common people, right? Like trying to make a difference in a world where superheroes are all the time, right? Like, so it's not about just being a pawn and suffering through everything that all super like powered people are going through. It's like being able to do something with that, and I really like that aspect of things. I think the twins nailed that story, like the characters and everything. Like that's my favorite part of seeing the dirtiest parts of of Flores Park, of the country. I also like they dropped the name of an area in the story, and I really want to know more about that. Like what's going on there. Like I want to go. The moment you say something is forbidden, I want to see what's behind that. Like what's going on there?
The NDA,
because if you see, the NDA inside the world, right? Because you see shows like My Hero Academia or something like that, and all I can think about is like what's the common people doing? Like, because basically everyone in the world has a quirk. Like what's the average day of an average citizen that has to deal with like everyone being superpowered in one way or another, even if it is like mild stuff, like it's not stuff you can use as a superhero. Like what about them, like the common people? That type of story I love the concept of the Ripazine, because we get to tell those stories. And then if they're like, if people are interested, we get to expand, or maybe we continue them in another Ripazine. So there's a lot that the potential is unlimited, right? Yeah. What about you, Marcus?
Yeah. It's like sorry. I was like waiting for the green light.
You've
I
got
like in terms of the Ripazines, there's honestly so far. I mean, we only have 5, but technically 4 because 5 is not out yet. But like in the people's hands to read. But there's 2 types of things that I've liked so far, and I want to see more of introduced from the Ripazines, and that would be from Dirty Deeds, the whole galactic stuff, going out of space. Like I haven't always been the biggest fan of sci-fi stuff like that, but lately over the years I've kind of it's grown into me, and the reason I want to see more of that, which was introduced with we got sailing and the Dirty Deed, it's because it opens up so much more potential for the creative and crazy things that our writers could do outside of the norm and the laws of physics on our planet, on Earth. You know what I mean? Like we could go crazy with the galaxy and stuff, and it'd be really interesting to see where the Rippaverse goes with that, because I know there's a lot of potential there, especially with what Caro did in Dirty Deeds. All these characters from the different other worlds piled up, doing their thing. I want more of that. And then the other thing is what Andrew's bringing with Zephyr and Blue Ship. I'm not going to say much about it. I'm just going to say it's a perspective from teenagers, the younger people, which is not really. I don't know if it's been done. Obviously, you got things like Teen Titans and all these other type of hero characters from the main two. But to see it in the Rippaverse is something interesting because you got cops that are like superpowered with the Alpha Core. You got all the stories are always been focused on like this super powerful older people. I've been interesting to see what about the little ones, little ones metaphorically speaking, and I guess literally, how do they see the world through the lens in the Rippaverse? We've kind of gone a little bit with like Hector's nephew and I guess Vassy, but we don't really focus on their story. Like they're side characters, But being focused on them, like the teenager ones, that's something I'm also really interested in, and I can't wait for. To be fair, I haven't read it, Andrew, the story for for Blue Shift. Even though I kind of should have, because you sent me the script when we designed the characters. I kind of wanted to keep it I like this whole keeping myself, ready for surprises and whatnot.
Fair
And
enough.
I can't wait for the fans to read it as well, because I'm pretty sure from the designs that you made me do for the story that we've done together, it speaks a lot. Like there's some good stuff that I'm like really hoping something cool happens. I'm expecting is what I'm trying to say, And yeah,
I hope so
basically
too.
just yeah, more sci-fi, more of that teenage era type of like that's my main two things that I've been introduced in the Ripazine that I like, that are my favorite type, and I want to see more of.
That's awesome.
Fantastic. Thank you, gentlemen. I love how like each of you literally had a completely different answer from each other, right? Neither of you picked the exact same thing, right? And so we were able to get multiple perspectives there. Yeah, the zine is so fun. Being a part of the zine, just being a part of the zine and doing our little 1-page short with the bird's eye view stuff has been a ton of fun.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
that's
can't
true.
wait for people who are just now receiving their copies of Zine 4. I can't wait for people to start giving feedback on that one because that one was
Yes.
fun. And number 5 was even more fun. I'm like really, really ready for people to check that out. And then after you guys read Blue Shift Tryouts, you can let me know if I should keep writing that or if I should stick with pigeons. So I appreciate you all nonetheless. I just love being a part of it. I want to be a part of the solution. I want to be a part of something bigger than myself.
Mhm.
And that's what the Rippaverse is. And that's what we're all trying to contribute to here. So let's hit some quick housekeeping things before we get our tukuses on out of here. Current active collections and campaigns. This is the final week for Death Shroud.
Yep.
Forged in Shadows over on Ripazine. It is like just about to, or even while we were recording this, we're recording this on Monday. It may have crossed 900 copies while we were recording this. I know
That's
it was
awesome.
only a few away before we started the recording. So that's fantastic. We're going to try and do a closeout stream for that, I think. And hopefully we can put it over the 1,000 books mark. Fingers crossed. I think that would be incredible. You guys' support and enthusiasm for this book has been amazing. It's a beautiful book. Kanan's got art on it. My boy VKen Marion's got art on it. Story is fantastic. It feels like the best of the like 90s and early 2000s supernatural horror books. I put it right up there with Darkness and Witchblade and Spawn when those books were like at their best. This book is worth your time, worth your money. Please check it out. Thank you to everybody who already has. Gary's book, Waiting for Nerdrotic, that has crossed it's over 2,800 books right now.
Awesome.
And it crossed 142,000, I think, this morning, again, as of recording. Ripazine number 5 is at 42,000. No, I can't read. 38,000 right now. I was jumping forward in time, but thank you to everybody who has been supporting that. We're almost at, I think, 1,600. We're at like 1,560 in terms of copies sold right now. That's incredible. You guys' support has been amazing. Thank you so much for your enthusiasm. I've been getting DMs and emails from
Yes.
fans saying, like, man, this is like, I've been waiting for this. And I'm like, I hope you want more after you read it. Norfolka, Glorious Death #1 is also doing phenomenally. And I don't know why my numbers didn't update on my doc. So I'm going to pull it up here real quick. We're over 5,600 copies sold on Norfolka and
Nice.
240K in sales. So I think that one's going to be over 250 easy. Let's see if we can push 300 on that. I think we can. I genuinely think we can. Thank you everybody that's been supporting the McFarlane ISOM action figure. That's doing very well. The more that sells, the faster we'll be putting out new characters. And I am going to be obnoxious about getting a full tack Horseman figure from McFarlane where he gets to just go all out with all the gear and accessories because McFarlane loves doing that kind of stuff. Give him batons, give him a bat.
Car?
Yeah, shoot,
With
go
his
all out, give him the stallion, give
the
me
stallion.
everything. Give me
Guns,
everything. Shotgun,
compass.
sidearms. Yeah, just let him
Severed
go
heads.
nuts, man.
Like
Let
a
him go
battered,
nuts.
a battered arm or something like that with bullet holes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, man. I'm so here for it. Like, I want that figure right now.
A blood ritual would be cool too.
I was gonna say blood
With the
get the
wolves
dogs,
would be
yeah.
and with Othello.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
with a dragon.
Oh, a dragon.
See?
too?
Sorry, wyvern.
Guys,
Why?
make it happen, guys. Make it happen. Big shout out as always to everybody that's a fan, and everybody that's in our community. You guys are why we do what we do, and you're how we're able to do what we do because you guys have been so freaking supportive of us from the beginning. Edwin putting out great and tracking numbers on like all of our collections for the year so far that puts those numbers in the public eye in a really well broken down manner that's easy to understand for people who are like me and can't read spreadsheets. I can, but I don't like looking at them. That's why Alex handles the numbers. Thinking, thank you for all your enthusiasm. RippaGuy, thank you for all your support. Joker over at Velvet Room Publishing, you have been amazing, and I love hanging out with you when I get the chance to on Braxcast. And big shout out also to my buddy Nick, 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser. He's been doing a lot of Rippaverse book review streams lately. I've been fortunate enough to be on the last two. We just did Horseman #1 the other night, and I think a couple of weeks prior to that, we did Great War of Separation #2. So thank you to everybody that's been so freaking supportive of us. Make sure you consider signing up for the Rippaverse membership. Only $5 a month for the lowest tier, and just at that lowest tier, you get a free copy of the standard edition of the latest Ripazine. So you can grab a free copy of Ripazine #5. You don't have to spend the $7-8. Just $5 membership. Get a copy. Read it. See if you want more. Check out all of that. Be sure to check out our live stream discussion that Kanan and I did a little bit ago with Chad talking about Death Shroud. That was one of the most fun streams I've been on in a very long time because it's just nothing but creative stuff.
Yeah.
And that's like, I like getting into the meat of the creative stuff. That's where I like to live because I'm not a YouTuber. I don't know what I'm doing up here. I just talk and then point at the creative people to do things. That's what I'm good at, or passable at. That is going to do it, however. But before we go, the prompt for next month that you all are invited to join us with. And big shout out to everybody that did submit fan art for this month. Even if yours did not make it onto the show, thank you for putting in time and the effort that I know goes into drawing because I can't draw. Thank you.
Hey, Andrew.
Like that support means the world. Look, I'll reveal the Ander sketch. I've already said I will reveal the Ander sketch if Zine, or at least part of it, if the Zine 5 hits 50K, which we're not actually that far from. So we'll I'm making it an attainable number. Okay. Eric makes it some astronomical number for the ISOM, Eric sketch. Oh, $35 million, and I'll reveal this sketch. Like, man.
If it makes you feel any better, since I've seen both sketches, I can tell you yours looks better from an artistic point of view. If it makes you feel any better.
Well, thank you, brother. That means a lot because your work on helping me with the designs has been instrumental, and you're a phenomenal
No offense
artist. And this
to Eric,
piece,
of course.
oh, of course not. No, of course not. And this piece of Betty that you did for this month is chef's kiss. But
Thanks.
the prompt for next month is pirates. Now, it could be standard pirates. It could be space pirates. However, it does have to be Rippaverse characters set in a pirate or space pirate theme. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to specifically be like, let's take, I don't know, characters that already look like they belong in that setting. No, you put them wherever. Yeah, think this is just fan art. This is just having fun. You want to have Salvage with a pirate outfit instead of a slick, pinstripe suit. Go for it, man. Like, absolutely go all out. Be creative. But as always, it does need to be Rippaverse characters. Not anything from any of the other guys. They've got all their own pirate variants and things like that. We're just over here having fun with our characters. So
I feel like me going to be drawing Suresh as a pirate art. What
I'm looking forward to
that. Be blowing back, boy. Nice.
I'm here for that, man. I am here for that. You'll get no complaints out of me. But yeah, make sure you yep. Yep. Make sure you get those to me by, let's say, September 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
Email me, Andrew@Rippaverse.com. Send me your pieces there. And I think that's going to do it for us. Gentlemen, thank you as always for gracing us with your time and your talents. And fans, thank you for gracing us with your time and your support. We appreciate you. You guys are all amazing. In fact, you're exceptional. Until next time, God bless. Godspeed.
Peace.
Peace out.